I'm going to show you the fastest and most efficient way to learn a language, any language. All right. I'm going to use Spanish here as an example, but you could do this for any language as long as Google Translate works or ChatGPT understands the language. You could do this for any language. All right. You will need a spreadsheet with everything you want to be able to say, thousands of sentences, and yeah, in a language that you understand, your native language or English, and the target language here. And you will also need listening materials, which basically means anything in the language, as long as it's varied and it's authentic. Any kind of podcast, anything works. Ideally, you'd have an audio file of this, so that you can listen to these sentences first over and over again, so that you learn them much more quickly, and then you jump to real materials. But yeah, just listening to anything will work as long as you listen to it enough. But the main thing to learn to speak is practicing speaking often, a lot, right? There's no amount of input that will make you fluent. You need to practice speaking. How? Well, active recall. This is very simple. Basically, what you need is the only thing you need to do is to take the sentences and you translate them one by one into the target language without looking. You could read it first, maybe once. Yeah, you read it. Okay, she's laughing. Ella está riendo. Blah blah blah. You just take a look first, but you should read it only once. That's enough. Then you should start doing active recall. Basically, what it means is you take the sentence, first sentence. The train is delayed. El tren está retrasado. You try to say it without looking. Got it right, unsurprisingly. If you got it wrong, then you repeat it aloud correctly this time. And you jump to the next sentence. The shoes are too tight. Estos zapatos son demasiado estrechos. Ajustados. Okay, different vocab, but same thing. This phone's really old. Este teléfono es muy viejo. Correct. Ella está riendo. Se está riendo, ok. ¿Te sientes bien? Ya. Siempre llegas tarde. And so on and so forth. And you do this with as many of them as possible every day. And you'll make lots of mistakes. It's not a problem because when you make a mistake and then you check right after and you get the feedback and you notice where you made the mistakes, you're much more likely to remember them. And the more you do this, the fewer mistakes you make. This is very hard work. It's not fun. For the first 1,000 reps or so, it's not fun. Then it gets easier and easier and easier and more fun because you just get in the zone and you get going and you can keep doing it forever and you can do thousands of reps very quickly. And once you're there, once you can do thousands of, once you're able to do thousands of reps of this, you read it and you say it in the language, you read it, you say it in the language. Even before looking, you know you say it correctly. Once you're there, and you can get there in a few weeks if you do this daily. It's very hard in the beginning, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. The more you do it, the easier it gets, the faster you'll be able to do it. And once you're face to face with native speakers, your ability to just produce language, your fluency will be excellent. You'll be able to say anything because you've been drilling these sentences, you've been practicing this skill, because this is the most important skill when it comes to speaking a language, is being able to come up with sentences fast enough so that you can use them in conversation. This is the main problem most people have. It's not that you don't know the vocab. Okay, could be that you don't know the vocab as well, but it's that you can't think, you can't form sentences fast enough, and no amount of vocabulary lists or grammar rules or none of that or input will help you think fast enough in the language. Okay, maybe if you do 10,000 hours of input, but that's 3 hours a day for 10 years, so you don't have the time for that. So this is the fastest and most time efficient way of doing it. You You need tens of hours of this, and very quickly you'll be able to speak way more. You'll be conversational with, well, like 30 hours of doing this. It's hard. Again, it's very hard. It's very hard work, and it's frustrating, and it's exhausting. But this is what any serious scientist will recommend. Like anyone like Andrew Huberman or Carl Newport, or these guys, like real scientists, uh, they will always tell you that you should use active recall to learn. And language learning is not uh, it's not different from learning any other skill or any other piece of information. Yeah, so you translate into the language, you get feedback, and you keep doing it over and over. You should combine this with a lot of listening, because you need to know the right pronunciation as well, not only how like the "ñe" is pronounced or the whatever double L is pronounced in Spanish. Uh, it's not only that; it's also where the like the intonation of the sentence, where the rhythm of the sentence, all that stuff. You need a lot of listening as well. But just from listening, you won't be you'll never be able to speak fluently just by watching videos or all that nonsense. You need actual hard work with active recall, active speaking exercises. All right, and this is the best one. I've got 15,000 sentences here. You could do this with any. You could do this with an Asimil book as well. Really, those are really good as well. Um, or you could do this with your own sentences using your language islands. Those are also very effective. In fact, you should do this with your own sentences first. Once you've got like 1,000-ish sentences that you've written for your own life and you've learned this way, then you can jump to a longer list. Uh, because obviously, learning sentences that are the most relevant to you first will be more effective. You'll be using them more, so then you can speak more in real life. You get more practice, and it's a virtuous circle, right? By the way, do the active recall. It's super effective. It will make you fluent in any language very quickly.